Yes, sir.
So yesterday we are discussing about the sequential circuit. Okay. So those who have not joined or not attending the class, so they are miss because again I am repeating the class. It is actually time wasting. So you can just go for this particular slide and whoever are present in the last class, just you can discuss with them. Okay. So we are talking about the sequential circuit, and after that we are talking about how many types of sequential circuit and what is the difference between the two type of sequential circuit, that is synchronous and asynchronous. After that we are discussing about the latch and flip flop. Okay, so what is the difference between latch and flip flop? Okay, please write, please see, check the set box, and after the class if someone is interested to join, actually I'm unable to admit all of them. Okay, so please don't try when the class is going on. So we are discussing about the latch and flip flop, and after that we are discussing how actually latch actually working, and what is the difference between latch and flip flop. Latch actually working in level sensitive, and when we are talking about the flip flop, that time what happen? It is called a edge sensitive. Okay, so so this particular part, it is flip flop. Actually, we are using the edge sensitive, and you know what is the difference between the level sensitive and the edge sensitive. Okay. So after that, we are discussing different type of sequential circuit. Suppose sequential circuit means what? Not sequential circuit. Sorry. We are discussing different type of leads, SR leads, D type of leads, JK type of leads, and T leads. Okay. So more or less, we are using the same, yeah, same configuration. Okay, same circuit. So this particular part I have already discussed. So I am not going to discuss all those things. Directly, I am starting clock signal. So why it is actually why clock signal is required in sequential circuit? Till now we are discussing about the LEDs. LEDs generally they are not using the clock signal, because what happen, we are in when we are talking about the LEDs, that time what happen, LEDs is what, one type of memory device. Okay, and what is the memory device? Memory device means what? It is storage binary information. Binary information means what? It is maybe stored 0 or it is maybe stored 1. Okay, so, and when we are talking about the LEDs, that means what? LEDs actually what? It is level sensitive. That means when we are using the LEDs, we are not using the clock signal. Okay. So based on the input, some particular outputs are generated, and that particular outputs based on our requirement. Okay. So what happen? You know how that means level sensitive actually working. Okay, and edge sensitive actually working. Okay. Now, when we are talking about the clock signal, that time what happen is synchronous system, and always remember clock signal we are using in the synchronous system. Okay, so what happen, the exact time at which any output can change state are determined by the signal, commonly called a clock. Okay, so what happened? So apart from the latch, we are using some particular flip flop. Flip flop also one type of memory elements, and when we are using the flip flop, that time what happened? It is controlled by the clock signal. So what happened? Instead of the input, what happened? We are based on the generation of the clock signal or active, that particular time clock signal is active or not. Okay, based on that, the outputs are generated. Okay, So what happen when we are using the clock signal? That time what happen? Generally, that is one type of flip flop. That means we are using the flip flop. Okay, and this is signal commonly called clock. Okay, and this particular clock signal, the outputs are generated. The output of the flip flop is generated. So see here the second point, the flip flop using the clock signal are a clock flip flop. If we are using some particular latch, suppose what happen, latch is flip flop is nothing but a one type of latch. Okay, and if we are using some particular clock signal in a latch, that time what happen, this is called a clock flip flop. Okay, so control signals are effective only if they applied in the synchronization with the clock signal. Okay, so that means what, this particular flip flop is working when the clock signal is applied. So we are not using any type of level sensitive. Okay, we are using the age sensitive, maybe and the age sensitive totally depend on the clock signal. So that particular part we will discuss after a few seconds. Okay, so the clock signal is distributed to all part of the system. The third point, the clock signal is distributed to all part of the system, and most of the system outputs can change only when the clock makes transaction. So what happens when we are using clock? That time what happens, some particular transaction period is there. Obviously what happens, so based on that particular transaction time, okay, and yeah, and it is generated by the clock, the outputs are generated. Obviously some particular delays are there between the flip flops. Okay, so what happened, so based on this particular clock transaction, the flip flop is showing the output. Okay, we are not using any particular level sensitive, and we are dealing with the sequential circuit. So sequential circuit always depend on the memory elements plus combinational circuit, output of the combinational circuit. Okay, we are using the concept of combinational circuit and memory elements. So see here, when we are using the clock, okay, and when we are using the clock signal, that time what happen, this is the one typical clock signal. Okay, this one is the typical clock signal. So when we are using the clock, that time what happen, it is one is called a positive edge triggered and another one is called a negative edge triggered. See in this particular diagram, suppose what happen, it is the initial level is the 0 volt, and the high voltage, it is maybe 5 volt, maybe 3 volt, maybe 2 volt. It is depend upon to the designer and how can set the higher voltage. Okay, so this particular range is called a 5 volt. Okay, so see here, so if this particular waveform, if it is going from low to high, that means this particular direction. If you are talking about this particular direction, that time what happen, it is called a positive edge. That means it is what happen, it is going from low to high. And if we are going this particular transaction, that means it is high to low. This one is called a negative edge triggered, and this one is called a positive edge triggered. Are you getting my point? And this way what happen, this is the transaction period. We can denoting this way. Okay, we are denoting this way. Okay, now see here, so suppose what happen, if we are using the positive edge triggered, and suppose what happen, positive edge triggered means what, this is the transaction period when it is going 0 to 1. This, suppose what happen, this one is 0, and this particular 5 volt we are considering as a 1, suppose. Okay, so it is moving 0 to 1, and this particular transaction period is called a on period. Suppose this one is, we are considering as a on period. This one is called a on period. Okay, and when it is going from high to low, that means 1 to 0, so that time what happen, this particular portion is called a off period. This particular period is called a off period. Okay, this particular period is called a off period. Again what happen, this one is called a on period, this one is called a off period. So it is going like that. And suppose what happen, always remember, when we are using the clock signal is countable. Suppose what happen, we are using clock 1, here the timing of this one is the clock 2, this one is the clock 3. Based on this particular clock pulse, we are counting the clock. And that particular part we will discuss later. One type of sequential circuit is called a counter. So always remember, when we are using the clock signal, that time what happen, the clock is countable. Okay, and we are representing this way. Okay, so what happen, see here, suppose here, when we are performing the clock signal, that time what happen, some particular, based on the transaction, some particular frequency is generated. And what is the transaction time? That particular t is defining as a time period. And when we are finding the t, actually time period, that time what happen, it is defining by 1 by f. Suppose I am using, suppose t equal to 1 millisecond, that time what happen, suppose t equal to 1 millisecond, and when we are finding the f, that time what happen, f is 1 kilohertz. Okay, so always remember, this is the relation between the frequency and time. Okay, so what happen, so remember one thing, the clock signal is distributed to, this particular clock signal is distributed to all parts of the system. Okay, so all part of the system, suppose, so all part of the system, and most of the system outputs can change only the when the clock makes a transaction. Are you getting my point? So that means what, the clock flip flop may be positive edge or negative edge. So this one is what, this one is the positive edge, we can design the clock, and this one is called a negative edge. Based on the positive edge and negative edge, we can design the flip flop. Okay, generally by default we are using the positive edge triggered, but it is not a mandatory, you can use the negative edge triggered also. Okay, so, and what is positive edge? Because it is going from 0 to 1. That means what, it is low to high. When transaction period is start from 0 to 1, that time what happen, this one is called a positive edge. And what is negative edge triggered flip flop? Those in which transaction take place only and at the magnitude going from low to high. This one, low to high. That means here it is high, and this one is the, it is down direction. So this one is 0. So it is called a negative edge triggered. Okay, so this way we can performing the timing diagram when we are designing the flip flop. We will see based on the different flip flops have a different timing diagram. That particular part we will see later. Okay, and when we are using the clock signal, that time what happens, we can establish the relation between the frequency and the time. And the t means what, here time period, and it is 1 by f. Okay, so next is that earlier we are discussing about the latch flip flop. Now what happened? This one is called a, as normally it is called a SR flip flop. If someone is saying that SR flip flop, by default you can automatically understand this is not a latch. But this one is the flip flop is nothing but it is one type of latch. But though we are not using the keyword latch, just we are SR flip flop. By default it is called a SR flip flop. If someone is asking more details, then you can say that this one is the clock SR flip flop. But specifically when we are using the latch, that time what happen, latch word we are using. So earlier the last class we are discussing, so different type of latches. SR, if we are using the latch only, that time what happen, we can specifically mention SR latch or D latch or T latch, something like that. Okay, so here S means what, S means set, and R means what, it is reset. And this is the not a latch, it is one type of latch, but we are using the clock pulse here. So this is the diagram. The other diagrams are same. Here what happen, we are using the clock pulse. So this one is what, this one is the normal basic flip flop of SR. This particular portion is the basic flip flop of SR. Here we are using the two NOR gates. Okay, and after that what happen, they are connected with the some particular AND gates. Okay, so what happen, when we are using this particular flip flop, always remember, so this one we can use the feedback connection. The output of this particular NOR gate, it is behave like as a input of this particular second NAND gate. Okay, and flip flop always remember, if two outputs and one is the key, if it is one is some particular value, that means other one is the complement of that particular value. So here we are using this. Okay, suppose in this particular case, this particular notation is that we are using the positive edge trigger. That means what, we are going from this particular direction. Negative edge triggered, something diagram is something like that. You can use here negative edge triggered also. But what happened, that time what happened, the timing diagram is changes. So suppose what happened, here we are using the positive edge triggered. So when we are using the positive edge triggered, sorry, this particular one is, this particular state table is directing here. By mistake I'm writing here. So this one is not a no more truth table. This one is called a state table. So that particular part also we are discussing why it is called a state table in the last class. Okay. So what happened? So this is the normal state table. Oh, sorry. This one is also called a state table. Yes, sorry. This one also is state table, and this one is some particular compressed version of the state table. From this one is nothing. This particular table is actually we can derive from here. This particular table. Okay. So that particular table we'll discuss right now. So what happened based on this particular circuit? How this particular circuit actually working? So the behavior of the circuit is represented by the state table. Okay. So what happened here when we are talking about the Q? Suppose what happened Q. Remember in the flip flop always we are denoting as a Q, or sometimes it is denoting as a Q bar. But remember one thing: Q bar is, it is not like that it is the output. This particular Q bar, we are not meaning that this one is the output. Okay. So whatever we are using Q or QT plus one, remember Q means what? Q means the present state or present position of the timing diagram. Okay, present time. Okay. So when we are denoting the QT plus one, that means what is the next time? Next time of that particular circuit. That is, so what happened? We are denoting as a T plus one. Okay, are you getting my point? QT means what? It is sometimes it is called a present state, and QT plus one is what? It is called a next state. That means if it is T, right now it is T, then what is the next? T plus one. Next means what? It is T plus one. Okay. So here what happened? See here, we are using the clock pulse. So if it is clock pulse is, it is nothing. That means it is not active. Clock pulse is not a, we are not generally using that time. What happens? Sometimes what happens? Some books is referred as a, it is zero or don't give that zero. That means what? Clock pulse is not active. Okay. Suppose what happened? So this one is the clock pulse, but remember clock pulse is not a Q. Q is what? Q is the present state, and QT plus one is what? It is the next state. So here we are using the two input. One is called a R and one is called a S. Okay. So see here. So when S equal to 0 and R equal to 0, and suppose we are assuming that suppose present state is 0. That time what happened? What is the next state? Next state is 0. Now how we can write 0 0 means 0? That means S equal to, when S equal to 0 and R equal to 0 and Q equal to 0, that means present state is 0. How we know that next state is 0? So just how we can know? Just we can use this particular circuit. Okay. So if we are properly, you see here, if we are using the circuit, that time what happened? We can clearly check that. We can, the last class I'm discussing how this particular bits are generated. So when S equal to 0, suppose this one is 0 and this one is R, and suppose we are considering our present state is, suppose present state is 0, this one is 0. That time what happened? We are assuming that this particular 0 also is a behave like as an input of this particular NAND gate. And after that what happened? Suppose clock pulse is, we are generating, that means clock is active, this particular 0 is moving to here 0. After that this one is 0 and this one is 0. That time what happened? We are using the NOR gate. So 0 plus 0 is what? 0, and we are using NOR gate. So this one is 1. Okay. So all the values we are getting from this particular table. You can check the, you can carefully check, and what happened? This particular next states are generated. And what is the intermediate? That particular part we will discuss later. Okay, just after this we will discuss. So remember, when S equal to 0 and R equal to 0, that means what? It is 0. So 0 means what? It is no sense. Okay. So no sense means what? What is the present state? Present state value is the next state. And when 0 1, when S equal to 0 and R equal to 0, always remember it is reset. Reset means what? It is 0, and set means what? It is 1. So when 1 0 is occurred, this one is the 1. And when 1 1, that time what happen? This one is called a intermediate state. That means it is invalid state. And why? When the invalid states are occurred, so that particular part also we are discussing last class. That time what happen? Both the values of the flip flop are remaining same. That means they are violating the rules. If it is 1, that time what happen? Opposite next one is must be 0. If it is 0, then next one is 1. But this is the not the case when s equal to 1 and r equal to 1. This one is called intermediate or intermediate. That means invalid. Intermediate means what? Invalid. So what happened here also 0 0. So 0 0 means what? What is the present state? Present state equivalent to the next state. Now what happened? Which one is the present state? Present state is 1 here. Okay. So what is the next state? Next state also 1. Okay. And when 0 1, 0 1 means what? Obviously it is reset. Then always value is 0. When 1 0, that means what? It is set. So value is always 1. And see here again 1 1 is occurred. So this one is also intermediate state. So how you can remember this particular table behavior of the SR flip flop? This is the shorter version of this particular state table. Okay. So see here when S equal to R, the output means what? This one is QT plus 1. This one is QT plus 1. So next state equal to the present state. So this way we are using, see here S equal to 0 0. What is the present state? Present state is 0. So next state is 0. So when S equal to 0 and 1, that means what? It is reset. So reset value is always 0. When 1 0, that means what? It is 1. So if you remember this particular table, then you can obviously finding all the possibilities of the binary sequence. Okay. So what happened? 1 1 means what? It is invalid. So this is the block diagram of positive edge trigger, and this is this particular table we are using as a positive edge trigger. Don't keep silence. Say something. You are getting or not? Are you present or something? Aapne on karke chala gaya. What type of rubbish things are going on? You are keep silence. All of you keep silence. You are getting or not? Getting, sir. You are not from your side. You are not asking any question and all those things. Now, I'm not talking about only one person or one student. I'm talking about whole the batch. And if your that means interaction is not regularly you are not interacting with me, then it is one type of presentation, one type of meeting is going on. Okay. Ankush Kumar Gupta, you just open your microphone.
Yes, sir.
ये 10 बजे बाहर निकलना शुरू हो गया घर से बाहर.
कौन?
आप तुम क्या गाड़ी का कैसे आवाज आ रहा है ये?
तो मैं दुकान में बैठा हूँ.
तो घर में नहीं बैठ सकते हैं एक क्लास के टाइम में? दुकान में आप दुकानदारी भी करेंगे और ये मतलब पढ़ाई भी करेंगे, दोनों एक साथ होगा?
सर मेरा घर दुकान दोनों अटैच है सर.
अच्छा ठीक है. तो अब ये आप okay. Deepjyoti Sharma, don't leave the meeting. Okay. So Ankush, just you tell me what is the difference between the combinational and sequential circuit?
Sir, in last class I am not present, sir. So I don't know about sequential circuit, sir.
Okay. So you are expecting that if you don't know, then now you are keep silence. So this is help to you.
No, sir.
So how can you manage? So no problem. Manage तो हो जाएगा. बाकी लोगों से पूछ लूंगा क्या क्या है, ऐसे देख लूंगा और पास हो जाऊंगा. That is your attitude.
No, sir.
Then why you are not asking anything? मैं पढ़ाते जा रहा हूँ आप लोग चुपचाप बैठे हैं. तो मतलब मैं जो आपको मतलब समझा रहा हूँ अभी जो आपको मैं एक बेसिक क्वेश्चन आई एम आस्किंग द बेसिक क्वेश्चन. इफ यू आर नॉट रिप्लाइंग प्रॉपर्ली दैट मींस व्हाट? मैं अब ये भी क्लास करके जा रहा हूँ, आप लोग साइलेंस बैठे हुए हैं. ये क्या जस्ट तमाशा हो रहा है क्या? Does it is one type of drama is going on or what? Why your microphone is off? I'm asking you. बंद कीजिए. Rajashri Gola, just open your microphone.
Yes, sir.
You tell me what is the difference between the sequential circuit and combinational circuit?
So in combinational circuit, everything is like time independent. Everything, it's the design is easy and there is no feedback between the input and the output. While in sequential circuit,
just wait. Your
Sorry, sir?
definition is wrong. What? No, your definition is totally wrong. What you are saying that in combinational circuit it is simplest way. What is the simplest way? How it is the terms are coming simplest?
Not simple, sir. I meant to say like the design is not complicated as compared to sequential circuit.
It is not like that. It is not like that. मैं कभी आपको नहीं बोला कि combinational circuit design is more simple than the sequential circuit. It is the any class I am not mentioning this particular word.
Okay, sir. No, so yesterday I read this somewhere. That's why I just said.
No. It is totally wrong. If you are read some particular book, that particular book also wrong.
Okay, sir.
When we are talking about the combinational circuit, the outputs depends on present input. How many times I'm saying that one? That's all.
Oh, okay, sir.
Then why you are this type of terms are going on the simplest? It is not a complex then compared to the sequential circuit. It is not. It is you are getting the totally 0 mark if you are giving this type of answer. Always remember when we are using the combinational circuit, the outputs always depend on the present input and there is no memory concept. When we are talking about the combinational circuit. And when we are using the sequential circuit, that means what? The sequential circuit accept the present input
and the previous one.
And also previous one. Yes. Previous one means what? Previous one means what? It is the memory elements. Nothing previous means what? It is the memory. Memory concept we are using in sequential circuit.
Yes, sir.
Switch off your microphone. Raju Kumar, open your microphone.
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by the late sensitive and age sensitive? Explain.
Yesterday class I am not present, sir.
तो क्या कर रहा था? पिकनिक मना रहा है, ठीक है? कल का क्लास अटेंड नहीं किया था.
No, sir.
तो किस लिए अटेंड नहीं किया था? ताकि मैं 10 मिनट देर हो गया इसीलिए?
No, sir.
अगर मैं क्लास में 10 मिनट लेट आऊंगा एक दिन में कोई भी कारण से, तो आप लोग क्लास छोड़ के चला जाएंगे?
No, sir.
तो मतलब अगर आपको ये लेवल सेंसिटिव एज सेंसिटिव अगर पता नहीं चल रहा है जब मैं क्लास कर रहा था, तब व्हाई यू आर नॉट आस्किंग मी? और कल मेरा क्लास खत्म हुआ है अराउंड 11 AM में. उसके बाद 11 से लेकर पूरा दिन भर रात भर आप लोगों ने डिस्कस क्यों नहीं किया? जो क्लास अटेंड किया था, जो आपका क्लासमेट कल क्लास अटेंड किया था, उन लोगों से क्यों नहीं सीखा?
किया था सर, नोट्स तो लिया था लेकिन सर रिवीजन नहीं किया.
अरे नोट्स, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ नोट्स? आई एम नॉट गिविंग एनी नोट्स. कौन सा नोट्स? क्या नोट्स? Just you understand the concept. Just you extract the knowledge. After that, you study yourself. My PPT is not working. Just my PPT for explaining purpose. Obviously, you can use my PPT, no problem. But that is the notes. My PPT is not notes. And if someone is asking some particular conceptual question, notes can't help you. Notes से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. I am not asking, explain, discuss this. Discuss this one. I am not asking this type of question. So in my class, the preparation of the making the notes in different time is something different. But making the notes, it is not meaningful. आपको प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा, बुक से करना पड़ेगा. मेरा पीपीटी को आप जब बुक में प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, सर क्या बोल रहा था, पीपीटी थोड़ा खोल के देखना पड़ेगा, वही काम है.
यस सर.
और नोट्स अगर बनाना है तो आपका बुक से बनाइए. जो मेरा पीपीटी यूज करके पहले देख लीजिए, उसके बाद बुक को ठीक से थ्रोली स्टडी कीजिए, उसके बाद नोट्स बनाइए। ये कोई लिटरेचर सब्जेक्ट नहीं है नोट्स बनाना है। तो अगर आपको ये चीज नहीं आता था तो आप किस लिए नहीं पूछ रहे थे? बंद कीजिए माइक्रोफोन। प्रीतम दास इज ऑलरेडी माइक्रोफोन इज ऑन। अब आप बोलिए प्रीतम दास।
Yes, sir.
You can tell me what is the what do you mean by yeah? That you explain let sorry. What I'm asking, let's and flip flop. Sorry. Level sensitive and age sensitive. Don't include the let's and flip flop. I'm asking why it is called a let's and why it is called a level and why it is called a
Sir, I was absent, sir, yesterday.
So that is the reason you are absent. ये कोई रीजन हुआ? कौन एग्जाम देगा, किसको मार्क मिलेगा? मुझे मार्क मिलेगा। हाँ, मुझे डिग्री मिलेगा। शिवम वाला इज लेफ्ट। ये कौन है भाई? विकिरण सेठिया, प्लीज ऑन योर माइक्रोफोन।
यस सर।
सो क्या मतलब क्या ये सर जैसे लग रहा है कि एकदम पूरा एकदम आपको नींद से कोई जगा रहा है। हाँ, बहुत जबरदस्ती आपको काम करने के लिए दे रहा है, जैसे आपने आवाज निकाला। हाँ, बोलिए क्या जानते हैं लेवल एंड एज के बारे में?
Level sensitive where the inputs are sampled with the high or low of the clock signal. High input or low input.
कुछ भी आते थे कुछ भी बोलते हैं। क्या हाई इनपुट लो इनपुट? क्या हाई इनपुट लो इनपुट?
Input signal have two states, 0 or 1 and low.
Obviously 0 and 1. Then after that?
That is
Why it is called a level? No. Yes. Tell me. Level means what? High and low. That particular concept we are using. High and low. Yes. Okay. No problem. Okay. High and low. Okay. We are using. After that, why it is called a level? And why it is called a edge? Edge also we are using concept of high and low. And level also we are using high and low. After that?
Well, I don't know.
एक काम कीजिए, कंबल लेके सो जाइए, ठीक है? और उसके बाद जब जिस दिन अभी तो कुछ पता नहीं है, होगा एग्जाम, आराम से होगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। It is not a like it is exam. Exam is nothing. It is just एग्जाम से लेकर बात कुछ नहीं होगा, ठीक है? ये आप लोग के लिए काम में आएगा, because this particular digital electronics concept it is not like that. If you are going to the fourth semester, then you can left all the concept. It is when you are appearing some particular interview, when you are appearing some particular entrance, some particular competitive exam, this type of basic questions are coming from this particular subject also. And this subject we are using, this particular concept of this particular subject we are using in many subjects. 6th semester also, 7th semester also, 8th all. So if your background is computer science and engineering, if you don't know after complete the third semester, I don't know what you people, your classmate, that means your basis, your interaction is very. Kingsley Bhezandalla, ये कौन है भाई? ये बहुत देर के बाद नाम सुना हूँ। Kingsley, KINGSL। आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑफ कीजिए।
Sir.
क्या? What is your name?
Kingsley, sir.
And where you are belongs from?
Telangana, Hyderabad.
Telangana. No, right now where you are?
Telangana, sir, in Hyderabad only.
Okay. So you are regularly attending the class?
Yes, sir.
So how many class you have already missed?
I think I think one or two, sir.
I think so. I think so. Okay. Record with me and try to attend all the class. Okay.
Okay.
So it is not like that you are staying very remote place of India. Telangana is quite well state. Okay. So you can get the proper connectivity and all those things. So last class you are on you are present.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Okay, very good. Then now you tell me level and age.
Sir, lectures are operates with a signal level, sir. See, means storage elements are operate with a signal levels, sir.
Hmm.
So it refers lectures. Lectures are called level sensitive device.
And what about the age?
Edges. It is a clock signal triggers, and also it will change the storage values. It means the storage device. It will change the storage device. It is a flip flop is a special means it is a different lecture. It is a kind of lecture, sir.
No. Yeah, you are telling going so, but you are not. Your answer is not coming any confident confidence way. Actually, you are not telling, and some particular mixing type of informations are there. So when you just answer this, just try to give the answer to the point. Okay, how can answer this particular point? See here, I'm telling you. You are telling some particular signal level after that. Yeah. If when we are talking about and when we are trying to say about the let's means what? It is behave like as a signal level, and this particular signal level is occurred in level. Okay, so what happened? Level means what? If it is one particular signal level is 0, 0, 0, 0, if maintain the level, that time what happened? Based on that particular level. Level means what? We are talking about the 0 or 1. Okay. So when it is going from 0 to 1 transaction period, that particular period is not considered in let's. Simply. And when we are talking about the age, that time what happened? The transaction of signal transaction is considered in age. But signal transaction is not considered in level. So it is called a level sensitive. And level sensitive, we are using let's and and signal transaction and age sensitive age level age sensitive we are using in flip flop. Thus you can use this particular term. That means signal transaction we are not using in let's, but signal transaction we are using in what age trigger.
Sir, I can understand the concept, sir.
So you can understand, but something what happen you can understand. Yes, understand is the important thing, but it is only help when you are giving the multiple type of question, when you are providing the answer to the multiple type of question. Okay, but someone is asking you, just you can write 20 or 30 lines, 30 sentence about this one. Then how can you write? So you can write, you can know that particular sentence. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, switch off your microphone. And out of 51 students, only 20 students are present. Almost 3 students are left. And the left student I have remember who is left. And next class I am asking why you are left the class. If you are not getting any proper reason, that time what happen? Your 4 class will be I am not giving any attendance. Though you are presenting the class, I present the class, but without my permission, how we can leave this particular meeting? So I am not mentioning the name of the student because it is clearly visible. And after that, what happened? Your for attendance, I am deducting. Class representative is present or not?
No, sir.
Okay. Then Rajasik Gwala, you pass this information. Those who have left this particular meeting, I will strictly take the action.
Okay, sir.
And if they are not giving any meaningful, and I don't think so, that some particular net problems are there, something like that. Yeah, who is this one? Waste of time. Waste of time. Obviously, waste of time. Then please on your microphone. Waste of time. On your microphone. Who is waste of time? Hmm? Aditya Datta Rai, on your microphone. Aditya Datta Rai.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
You are belonging from which
I'm
state?
from Uttar Pradesh, sir.
Okay. So right now you are at the home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. So why you are not attending in the last class?
Sir, I was not present.
Why? What is the reason?
सर मैं लेट हो गया था सर मतलब वो इसलिए क्लास ज्वाइन नहीं किया
तो नहीं मैं भी कल लेट हुआ था यस सर मैं भी कल लेट हुआ था मैं आप लोग को एक बार व्हाट्सएप में मैसेज दिया कि मैं 9:30 से क्लास करूंगा उसके बाद मेरा 10 मिनट करीबन देर हुआ था तो मैं भी लेट हुआ था कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है इसमें तो कैसे चल रहा है आपका ये क्लास कुछ समझ में आ रहा है जितना तक हम लोगों ने पढ़ाया अभी whatever we are discussing till now you are getting something और ऊपर से जा रहा है
सर ऊपर मतलब अभी तो समझ नहीं आया
just a minute Govind Kumar Rajappa he is trying many attempts ये पहले ज्वाइन किया था फिर उसके बाद लेफ्ट किया मैं इसको क्यों दूं Who is Govind Kumar Rajap?
So student from our semester.
Student from?
Our semester, sir. Third sem.
Student, third sem. But he is joined earlier. Why he is left this meeting? Or he freshly joined this meeting?
So he was getting some permission issues.
Class will be started. Class was started on 10 a.m. Now he is trying. Now it is what? It is 10:49. He don't know when the class will be started. He don't know the timetable. किसको मैं पूछ रहा था?
यस सर
तो जितना भी मैं क्लास ले रहा हूँ आपको समझ में आ रहा है?
ठीक ठाक समझ में आ रहा है सर मतलब अभी पढ़ना पड़ेगा पीछे का पढ़ूंगा तो कुछ अच्छा समझ में आएगा
पीछे का कब पढ़ेंगे
पढ़ूंगा सर स्क्रीनशॉट लेके फिर उसको पढ़ूंगा सर मतलब जो कल प्रेजेंट था राजसूर वाला से
ये आपका मतलब मोटिव है ये आपका ऑब्जेक्टिव है मैं जो पढ़ा रहा हूँ उसका स्क्रीनशॉट लेके
मतलब छूट गया सर तो पे ही कर सकते हैं
आप थोड़े के लिए वेट कीजिए हाँ माइक्रोफोन ऑफ मत कीजिएगा ये कौन है देख लेता हूँ हाँ अभी अभी कौन ज्वाइन किया? उसका माइक्रोफोन ऑन कीजिए। गोविंद,
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
गोविंद कुमार था। हाँ, इसलिए तुम माइक्रोफोन ऑन बना बार बार अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हो। व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम?
सर वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम सर मेरा ही था सर, तो मैं वो परमिशन ऑन करने गया सर वो माइक्रोफोन का। सर एक्चुअली मैंने नया फोन
अच्छा, वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम नहीं, वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम तुम्हारा ही था। तो तुम्हारा कोई काम नहीं है क्या? मतलब वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम तुम्हारा हेडिंग में लगा कर रखा हो तुम?
नो सर, सॉरी सर, मतलब यूट्यूब चैनल था सर, तो उसका मैं यहाँ से फिर ऑन करना भूल गया सर।
तुम कहाँ से हो?
सर आई एम फ्रॉम असम।
वेरी गुड। असम इन व्हिच प्लेस?
सर बोंगाईगांव।
ओके, जस्ट ऑफ योर माइक्रोफोन।
थैंक यू सर।
हाँ, आदित्य दत्त राय, जस्ट ऑन योर माइक्रोफोन।
यस सर।
अच्छा, सो आपने क्या बोला कि मैं स्क्रीनशॉट जो है वो लेकर रखा हूँ और उसको मैं ऑन ओपन करके मैं पढ़ाई करूंगा। वो अब अभी थर्ड सेमिस्टर में है, इसीलिए कोई इतना ठीक है। अब फर्स्ट और सेकंड सेमिस्टर में ऐसे ही पढ़ाई किया था क्या? सिर्फ नोट्स पढ़ाई किया था और टेक्स्ट बुक कभी फॉलो नहीं किया था?
नो सर।
क्या है आप लोग कैसे ना, आप कैसे पढ़ाई करते हैं? मतलब एग्जाम के अभी तो आप क्या बोल रहे हैं कि पुराना वाला ठीक से देखा नहीं, पढ़ना पड़ेगा। मतलब पूरा जमा करके आप रख देते हैं और एग्जाम के 20 दिन के पहले वो जो भी सर लोगों ने क्लास में नोट्स दिया था उसको नोट्स को खोल के पढ़ाई करते हैं।
नो सर।
ऐसा है तो आप नहीं बोला है कि बोलो बोलो बोलो।
मैं बस कल का टूटा है उसका सर, टूटा कल का।
सो ये सब मत समझना कि मल्टीपल इंटरनल एग्जाम बढ़िया आ रहा है, आउट ऑफ 10 9। वी आल्सो नो एज ए टीचर, वी आल्सो नो how you are, all of you, how it is getting that 10 out of 10. It is very good for me if you are getting out of 10 and 10 you are getting the mark out of 10 10. If you are getting, then I'm very much satisfied. But you know, I know most of the students how they are collecting the marks, but I'm warning them, please don't go this way. थोड़ा काम कीजिए, पढ़ाई कीजिए रेगुलरली, ठीक है? और थोड़ा जब आप लोग किस लिए मुझे नहीं पूछ पा रहे हैं मालूम है? किस लिए मैं बताता हूँ आप लोगों को। आप डेली का काम जो मैं आज पढ़ाया आप लोग उसको प्रैक्टिस नहीं करते। आप जब प्रैक्टिस करेंगे आप लोग का बहुत सारा छोटा छोटा कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर नहीं होगा, तो ऑटोमेटिकली आप लोग मुझे पूछेंगे, सर दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट इज नॉट क्लियर, ओके जस्ट प्लीज टेल मी दिस वन। मैं सीक्वेंशियल सर्किट जब खत्म कर दूंगा तब आप लोग देखना शुरू करेंगे और उसके बाद आप इसीलिए सर तो अभी दूसरा सब्जेक्ट चैप्टर पढ़ा रहा है, अभी इसके बारे में पूछूंगा तो सर ये करेंगे। तो इसका रीजन क्या है? यू आर नॉट कंप्लीटेड योर डेली असाइनमेंट, डेली होमवर्क तो मैं आप लोग को कुछ अलग से दिया नहीं। होमवर्क आपका ये जो मैं पढ़ाया उसको बुक खोल के सिर्फ 2 घंटा 3 घंटा पढ़िए। बाकी सब्जेक्ट भी पढ़ना है ना, तो इसीलिए 1 घंटा 2 घंटा टाइम देने से भी आप लोग का बहुत है, इफ डेली बेसिस। If you are not doing this way, that time what happen? Really, you are getting, you are facing many trouble. And you know your end semester exam will be held on next year. And next year you cannot predict your exam will offline or online. But remember, offline and online, there are huge difference. You know, because आप लोगों ने अभी second semester complete किया है। Offline और online में क्या difference है, you know. Online में बहुत सारा चीज हम लोग को compromise करना पड़ा है, but offline exam totally different scenario. Okay, so you can prepare in a such a manner. It does not matter for you it is offline or online. You can prepare yourself so that you will give the exam comfortably, in comfortable way. Okay, आदित्य, तो क्या करना है? अभी पढ़ाई करना है, थोड़ा देखना है, ठीक है? क्योंकि घर में रहने से तो इतना नहीं होता है, लेकिन ये आप लोग का क्या चल रहा है? ये पीक पॉइंट चल रहा है आप लोग का इंजीनियरिंग का। ठीक है, इसमें थोड़ा नॉलेज कलेक्ट कीजिए, नहीं तो बाद में क्या होगा, ऐसे भी आपको डिग्री मिलने के बाद भी एक टाइम में आपको हार्ड वर्किंग करना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि इसके बाद भी इसीलिए अभी कर लीजिए, क्योंकि कंप्लीट होने के बाद थोड़ा अच्छा कुछ ना हो जाए, नहीं तो ऐसे डिग्री तो मिल जाएगा, डिग्री तो मिलने के लिए कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, डिग्री तो मिल जाएगा, बाद में उधर उधर घूमना फिरना पड़ेगा, ठीक है।
यस सर।
माइक्रोफोन ऑफ कीजिए। Ten 55. So now I'm not discussing anything to you because your concept is not clear. मैं देखिए slide number 7. I'm next class. I am asking all of you some particular question based on the slide number 1 to 7. So your concept is not clear. So I'm requesting all of you, please you going to a deep level study about the sequential circuit and combinational circuit. What is the latch and flip flop? What is the meaning of these particular two terms, level sensitive, age sensitive? Okay, how many types of latch? Okay, and when we are constructing the state table, how state table is formed based on that particular circuit. State table means what? Behavior of that particular circuit. ये जब तक क्लियर नहीं करेंगे मैं आगे नहीं बढ़ूंगा, और जब तक ये आप लोग मैं कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं होगा कि आप लोग समझ गए हैं, मैं आगे नहीं बढ़ूंगा। सो नेक्स्ट क्लास क्या है? आज वेडनेसडे है, तो नेक्स्ट ट्यूसडे को होगा कि सैटरडे को होगा, आई विल इन्फॉर्म यू। सैटरडे को आप लोग का लैब क्लास भी हो सकता है, ओके। सो ऐसा नहीं है नेक्स्ट मंडे ट्यूसडे को है, मैं अभी आराम से रहूंगा, लास्ट मोमेंट में देख लूंगा, नहीं अभी थोड़ा आप लोग जो मैं कल जो पढ़ाया, कल मैक्सिमम स्टूडेंट्स आर एब्सेंट yesterday class, okay, so you can just clear your concept, after that I will proceed। ये ऐसे नाटकबाजी करते रहने से मैं कोर्स कंप्लीट करूंगा, आप लोग को कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा, देन व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर ये। सो जब तक आप लोग मुझे कॉन्फिडेंटली नहीं बोल पाएंगे कि ये पार्ट हम लोग को समझ में आ गया है सर, और आ गया है, और इफ एनी डाउट देन आई विल हेल्प यू। इफ यू आर give me the opportunity, okay, opportunity means what? If you are asking me some particular question or some particular concept, then I will proceed, okay। So you remember in this particular PPT you can going from 1 to 7, okay, but just you follow this particular PPT, but what happen other way, you can go book, Maurice Meno book or whatever, Anand Kumar book or something like that, और उसमें से अगर कोई भी पार्ट आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा, इफ यू आर नॉट गेटिंग एनीथिंग, देन प्लीज राइट डाउन दैट पर्टिकुलर डाउट और प्रॉब्लम एंड आस्क मी, एंड दैट टाइम आई एम वेरी हैप्पी, ओके। ये ऐसे ही मैं पढ़ा के जा रहा हूँ, आप ऐसे ही बिस्तर में सो के सुन रहे हैं, कोई नींद में आ रहा है, कोई दूसरा काम कर रहा है, माइक्रोफोन ऑफ करके वीडियो ऑफ करके, वो कोई फायदा नहीं होगा, ठीक है। और मैं ये रेगुलर इंटरवल में आप लोग को बीच में इंटरेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज मुझे पता नहीं चलेगा कि आप लोग इतना साइलेंस बैठते हैं, मुझे भी पता नहीं चल रहा है कि मैं ऑनलाइन क्लास कर रहा हूँ। Are you getting my point? So
Yes, sir.
be prepared, and strictly that particular day I am maintaining the attendance. Out of 51 students, always my screen shows me only 20, hardly be in the range of 15 and 21, 22 से कभी आगे नहीं गया है। And most probably the earlier class, first class, when I am studying the class, that time it is most probably 38 or 39 students are there. And what about the other students? अगर वो स्टूडेंट सोच रहा है कि मैं सर लोग को बोल दूंगा कि हम लोग का यहाँ पे नेट का प्रॉब्लम है, but remember one thing, I don't know about the other subjects, but if you are not providing any type of proof, and proof कैसे आएगा? जो मैं क्वेश्चन आप लोगों को करूंगा उस हिसाब से आपको प्रूफ देना पड़ेगा। आप लोग को क्या प्रूफ होगा मुझे मालूम है, सर उस जगह में नेट नहीं है, बाकी 12 स्टूडेंट कहाँ गया, 13 स्टूडेंट हमेशा क्यों मिसिंग है? And they are not allowing to attend the mid semester exam, और जब मिड सेमेस्टर एग्जाम नहीं देंगे तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपका ये सब्जेक्ट क्लियर नहीं होगा।
आई एम नॉट आई मीन बिकॉज मैं पहले ही आप लोग को बोल दिया हूँ कि अटेंडेंस में 75% होना पड़ेगा। इंस्ट्रक्शन मैनुअल में भी